Hello YouTube, this is that Yi guy. Today I have for you the ultimate guide on the Astray ship in Lost Ark. So Astray is the fastest ship in Lost Ark. There are some drawbacks, so it's not the perfect ship, but if you build it correctly, if you invest enough time into it, you're gonna have potentially a ship that can do everything in the game comfortably and just way outpaces any other ship in the game. Before I go into the details, I will warn you that a lot of guides floating around severely, and I mean severely, undersells the amount of effort you need to get Astray into the ultimate form, to have it be fast, have the passive ready, have it upgraded to the point where it's better than the other ship by a long mile. At the same time, a lot of them skip over requirements, such as the fact that you do need to have Blackfang at Trusted, which is a much harder task than most people assume. As with all my guides, I'm going to have timestamps down below so that you can skip to different sections that you're interested in. And with this guide, I also did a multi-page type up where I go over in text, step by step, of everything you need to know to get the Astray itself, where I go over the different steps, how to get the Astray construction blueprint, which Una's task it is, how to unlock the Una's task itself, and how you would go about completing it. After that, I briefly covered the upgrades. So in terms of materials, all of it is kind of universal. You just get the same materials as everything else. I mentioned in the Astray Blueprint how you cannot get it from the beginner boxes. And as well, I have a section where I cover the crews that you potentially want, why you will want them, and how you will go about acquiring it. I reference punacat.com because it's a fantastic resource for a lot of the crew details, because I wanted some nice graphics to go with the guide where you can see the stats of each crew. But the description of where to get it is slightly vague, so I went ahead and clarified each section. The cost of each crew I also explained in this section. Now I'm gonna go over all of that in the video. Of course, you don't have to watch it. You could just go to my text guide, and if you have any questions, if anything's unclear, you can feel free to ask down below, or you can ask on my Discord. So the first question you might have about Astray is that, well, if it really takes that much, do I need to have Astray? And the answer is not really, but it is a nice long-term goal to work towards. It is a status symbol. You can honestly see if you're doing events, you could just outpace everyone else, run circles around them if you have Astray fully built. And for a lot of people, that is a lot of fun. Another benefit of the Astray is that a lot of people I know are fans of Blackfang as a character, so you could potentially now comfortably get 2 Blackfangs to be on your ship, and she'll provide fantastic bonuses. The boost of the Astray is the best speed boost in the game, so aside from just being the fastest ship, they also receive the highest boost, most frequent, long-lasting boost as well. So I'm gonna go over the guide step by step and try to show you some of the in-game visuals, and I'm gonna divide all this into sections. Hopefully everything is going to be clear. So once again, to warn you, to get Astray to the full power, you're gonna need 300,000 pirate coins just to get it, a lot of grind, high report check requirement, and to get all the crews that I think will make Astray the best ship it can be, you're gonna need 22,000 sun coins and 180,000 pirate coins on top of what you need to get the actual ship itself. But I will say, to a sake of transparency, you do not need to have all these crew just yet. But what I think you do need is actually 8,000 sun coins. If you go over here, 8,000 sun coin, what you need that for is to buy the relic rarity Blackfang. What she does is that she has the highest level passive for the Astray that lets you use the speed boost way more often than any other ship in the game, and I consider her essential if you're going to go for Astray. She also provides one of the highest speed boosts in the game by itself, and it's 2.3 speed just by having her on the crew. To start off, the location where a lot of this happens is in Blackfang's den. You can search for it in the sea map and just simply go there. It's the easiest to go there from the Lutera continent. As you can see, it's roughly over here. Once you're here, there's an NPC called Belrod. You can check with him to see what you actually need to make the Astray itself. So the timber requirement is very easy to fulfill. The uncommon ship part material is very easy to get as well. But the hard parts are these 3 different components. So to start off getting the material, you're gonna need to talk to Marina Rosa. This is the part where you go to special sales and purchase it for 300,000 pirate coins. And there are different ways to get the coin. I have a whole separate video covering it, so you feel free to check it out on my YouTube channel. And once you get this item, you can simply right click to use it, and once you do, you follow the quest chain until there's a part where you need to have max rapport with Blackfang NPC, and she is located right here next to all the other NPCs. And you simply talk to her, and you have to build her rapport all the way up to trusted before she's willing to give you the Astray blueprints. If we take a look at the Blackfang's requirements, you can see that she requires quite a bit of rapport, and estimated 56 days of rapporting to get her to max. Aside from that, you also need quite a bit of requirements. This is the part that almost any other video I've seen skips over completely, is that you do need the virtual stats in order to get her to be talk to you once she's at friendly. So you're gonna need at the last stage 180 wisdom, 260 courage, 260 charisma, and 220 kindness. So this might seem high, but I promise you, if you make some time, dedicate some effort into grinding it out, you can totally get those virtual stats. To see how you can get virtual stats, you can actually go to Adventures Tome. So one thing you can do is you can go to different Adventures Tomes. So what you should do is, if you scroll over the world boss, these are very easy to kill. You can just hide at the spot and just camp it and kill them, and you'll get this. For example, this one will give you +1 courage. And all these hidden stories are relatively easy to get as well. So what you want to do is you want to look up a Adventures Tome guide on Google, and you're going to be able to find different sites with different maps where it tells you how to do the hidden stories. And another thing you can do for these virtual stats, of course, I will most likely have a guide for this in the future where I go into it in more detail, but this is a game with a lot of content, so unfortunately I can't cover everything in this same video. But you can also go to Alt +D or the Codex, and in the Codex you can actually search character growth, and you can go down and look for the stat you need. So right now, you probably need a lot of charisma. So if you click on permanent stat increase charisma, you're going to see all the different sources where you can potentially get charisma potions. So each of them gives you 10 charisma. And this is another way you can slowly build up the virtual. You can do the same thing for courage. You can do the same thing for wisdom. We can find out where to track the potions sources, and once you're there, you can actually just see, oh, I need to report with this NPC, or I need reputation with this quest line, and things like that. And once you have the requirement, you still need to pretty much interact with her to build her rapport, or you can give her gifts in order to get her rapport to max. You could set a Bifrost right here next to Blackfang. So every day you could just come here with a Bifrost system and just save a location, come here every day. You can also do a very nice daily task here as well, which I'll cover in a second. But you want to be able to max her reputation, you could either give her gifts or just build it slowly. There is a trick I want to talk about that a lot of people seem to hand wave as, oh, you don't need requirements. You can simply gift bomb her. So what that means is actually you give her so many gifts at once, she skips directly from amicable 3 in her affinity towards you all the way past friendly 1, friendly 2, friendly 3, and hit trusted. So what that allows you to do is to do this at a lower requirement. But one thing I don't like about when other people mention this is that this is actually not that easy to do. To do this, I did the math, I did the research, so you need to get her to amicable 3, and you need to get her to amicable 3 and exactly 11,000 to 11,500 rapport. And at that point, if you mess this up, if you go over this in any way, you can no longer cheese it. And the reason is, once you go over this, you will either go into friendly 1, which requires the higher tier of stat requirements, or it's too high that she doesn't accept the exact amount of gift you need to hit trusted. It's actually much more complicated than people think, and you need to have 23 of the same legendary rapport gifts to make this even work. So I've been heavily stacking my rapport gifts. I've been going to the shops just for the sake of research and video. I've been going really hard every week. I've been buying out the weekly rapport pack to try to get the legendary rapport selection chest. I've been going to secret merchants all the time to buy the legendary gifts, and this is just so much effort. And even now, weeks in, I don't have enough to even use the cheese method. So I think people just hand wave this way too much. What you want to do is ignore the fact that you could potentially cheese her. Just get the virtual stat you need. It wouldn't take you more than a couple of days if you want to dedicate to it. You can even sit down in one day, go through the codex thing like I mentioned, grind out all the charisma potions I just mentioned, and get all the quest, the secret stories that in different continents that gives you charisma, and you will have the requirements to talk to Blackfang. Once you do all that, you have finished one of the hardest part of this journey, and now you can go to Astray Shipbuilder and you should have Astray operational manual from the quest. So that part will be complete. And the next parts are a long, consistent grind, but not necessarily hard. So one thing I already have is Certificate of Pirate. So what that does is that you can see it requires Reputation Pest Control. In your Una's task, which is something you unlock once you hit level 50, you're going to start seeing these different tasks. So to unlock the pest control, what you have to do is simply come to Blackfang's Den in the sea map and clear all the quests on Blackfang's Den. Once you do, this will appear in your Una's task menu, and you simply do this every day for 15 days. And what that allows you to do is slowly over time max this particular reputation. So it's test pest control, you'll get some pirate coins on the way, and ultimately once you do it 15 times, you'll get Certificate of Pirate. So now that's 2 parts of the Astray that you have collected. And the last part you will need is Astray Construction Blueprint. So what that requires you to do is another Una's task. So you simply go in and now you're looking for something else. The Una's task you're looking for is going to be She Drifts Sea Gifts. So this one is going to require you to actually clear Rojando in order to appear in your Una's task list. So if you don't have it, go ahead and progress your story in Rojando, and you should be able to see this soon enough. And what you need to do for this one is you simply accept it, and you will get Blackfang's letter. You press F5 in order to read the letter, and then you have to participate in a co-op mission. So co-op missions are missions that appear periodically, and you should just check the schedule and you should simply participate. And there are certain missions that are salvage missions where you gather chests And by doing those, you'll fulfill the requirement for these Unas tasks. And if you do it consistently for 25 days, you will have this completed. So one thing I will note is that you technically, if you don't want to make your way to the missions, you could go for the skip. You could do the finish with Unas completion tickets, but I don't know. This is easy enough to do on a consistent basis, and co-op missions are rewarding anyways because they give you different sailing currencies, which you would need a lot of. So as long as you grind this out, and in the 25 days, you will have the last part of the Astray that you need. This is what you need. You need to fill this out, and as you progress through, you're gonna get a lot of pirate coins as well. So once you have this, you have the third part of what you need for the Astray itself. You'll be the proud owner of the fastest ship in the game. In my guide, I also made special mention of this blueprint selection chest. One thing you might notice is that unlike the normal basic ships, you do not have the option to select the Astray Blueprint in this. So to get Astray to level 5, you're going to need Astray Blueprints. So you can simply wait for the traveling merchants to show up in your stronghold, but they won't always have them for sale. Or you can go to the plum fishing vessel outside Vern Port or Lutera Port, and they should have Astray Blueprints for sale for 25 Gilna coins each. Keep in mind that the trader ship do rotate their stock, so they rotate every 30 minutes. So if you don't see them at the port, you might have to go back in another 30 minutes to look for this. So the last part I'm going to talk about is the crew for the Astray that you're going to have. And there is one crew that I consider absolutely essential, while everything else is just optional. And the one crew you need, if you just go to my guide and follow my link here, you will be taken to Papunica. One thing you'll notice is that I have disabled ad blocker. I highly encourage you to do so for these resource sites because they put in a lot of work, and so please support the creators. They put in so much time to make these resources, so you should help them and support them whenever you can. So I have my ad blockers disabled for these resource sites. What you want to do is that once you're there, you can simply type in Astray, and it will just sort and only show you the sailors for the Astray. One thing you might notice is that the locations are not exactly correct. It says Tai Shao Path, but what that means is actually it's pulled off of other versions. So Tai Shao Path is actually referring to Punica in this case. So you'll see that the one crew that I think you absolutely must get is Blackfang at Relic Rarity. To get her, you're gonna have to purchase a Tear of Abyss from a trader ship outside Punica for 8,000 Sun Coins. If you're getting Astray, you must get the Blackfang. She has a level 3 passive that lets you boost more often and boost the most. And her speed, 2.3, is out of this world. So you absolutely must go for Blackfang if you're going for Astray. Without her, Astray is not the powerhouse it's going to be in the long run. Once you buy the Tear of Abyss, you can simply go to Isle of Mist. So you go to Island of Mist in order to look for the NPC Keith, and once you find Keith, you will be able to exchange the Tear of Abyss for Blackfang. There are two other notable crews that I think are important for this is Baraka. The reason you want him is because he has 1.6 speed, which is really fast, and his resistance are just out of this world. It's some of the best in the game. As I mentioned in the all ships comparison video, the resistance you want the most for the late game content is for Siren Seas and Tempest Seas and Dead Waters. So he is positive for all three while providing a lot of bonus for the Dead Waters and the Siren Seas. So you definitely want him. And another one you might want is Wilhelm. He's really good. He's quite slow, but he does provide a massive bonus to 2 of the most dangerous waters. So for specifically those NPCs, I provided more detail how much they cost and things like that in the document. You can feel free to check it out. I will make a note that the legendary rarity of each of these crew are really hard to get. So the Blackfang, while it just says Open Seas treasure map, no one I know as of yet has acquired her, because supposedly you get this treasure map from participating in Gates of Harmony, Gates of Earth, and things like that, which is just, I have never gotten a treasure map from them from all my grinding, so I cannot in good conscience tell you that's how you get it. And the Wilhelm and Barakas, the stronghold merchants don't always have them for sale, so you're gonna hunt for them for quite a bit. So while you're trying to look for them, you could go for the epic tier, and you can definitely acquire them much easier. And in this guide, I do also tell you how to purchase them, how much it costs, and things like that. So for Wilhelm, for example, the site says Stronghold Trade Merchant, but it's not the only way to do it. If you look into it, you can potentially also purchase him from a ship outside Rohando as well. Other than the super top tier sailors, you could also go for things that are decent. So fording, for example, are pretty solid. The speed is good, but resistance are not that great. With that, I think I've covered everything you need to know about the Astray in Lost Ark. So if you have any questions, please feel to ask me down below in the comments, or go to my Discord. I always try to answer my questions there if I can. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you best of luck in the grind for Astray. It is a long grind. It is harder grind than people let you think it is. But at the end of the day, it is a very cool status symbol to flex on other people. And it's a nice thing for people like me who are completionists. I will slowly work towards it myself as well. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.